All right, we're going to try this again. Welcome to my live, guys. We're genetics today, something that's really important. I'm going to wait for some people to get in because I had some technical difficulties, of course. It usually goes without fail. Flawless pause. Can you hear me, my friend? Can you hear me? Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Now you guys can hear me. All right, loud and clear. Basically, this whole social media thing is fun and all, but sometimes when technical problems happen, all you want to do is just throw the computer across the room. But I didn't. We're here. Yeah, so when I got in, I picked the microphone up top of my camera, and it wasn't working, and I couldn't figure out how to change it. But we are here. We're rolling. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We're going to do live questions, which means if you guys have any questions about your dog, your neighbor's dog, your friend's dog, your client's dog, we're going to be taking those live questions. There's going to be absolutely no rush on any of this, guys. So stick tight. I'll be answering everyone's question. But one thing I want to go over first is genetics. So it's something I've been talking about for a long time. And I want to get your take on it. I want to get your questions on it. And I think it's just important for dog owners to understand genetics before they really even think about training, like what they're up against. So if you guys know me, under any circumstances, you have probably seen my Borbal named Burley. He is a intact year old giant mastiff. He's a South African mastiff. He's a Borbal. And, for an example with him, by the way, good morning, everybody. Cheers. I'm drinking coffee today, which I normally don't do because it gives me anxiety. But I just got back from Scotland, and I'm trying to get back with the time change and everything. And so we're going to be all jacked up on some coffee today. And maybe later we'll go and we'll work out and we'll get all the anxiety out of the system. But anyway, uh, genetics is important. And it's important because like for an example with Burley, like when I bring him out for a walk, if he doesn't act suspicious about things, if he doesn't react towards certain things, I would honestly be a little bit disappointed because that's why I got him. And so like if you have a border collie, if you have a terrier, anything with terrier in it, anything like taking a golden retriever, historically, a lab historically shouldn't be a super reactive and suspicious dog by nature, right? So those are all things to consider, like as you're moving forward with all this. Like, okay, I'm gonna do not disturb. Do you have a dog that has the genetic disposition to be reactive, to be protective, to be crazy, to be psycho? Like Lakota is a perfect example. My Dutch Shepherd, she nonstop constantly wants to go and play fetch. She constantly wants to go and do stuff, you know. And so genetics play a super, super big role. And a lot of times, what I start conversations off with, if you guys watch my live or my YouTube videos or anything like that, you're really seeing me talk about what dog they have first, right? Like, what dog do they have first compared to what are we going to do to train the dog or stop the dog from doing certain things? And so those are all really important things as we develop in dog training. And so you got to really audit and ask yourself, like, do you have a dog that has the genetic disposition to be protective, or do you have a dog that wants to hunt? Do you have a dog that wants to pull you because they like tracking and that's what they're born to do, so on and so forth? So it's just something that I always really like to start conversations off with dog owners is, people are like, hey Tom, I got this border collie and they chase my kids around. Okay. Hey Tom, I have this Rottweiler and they bark at everybody who walks by. And so obviously, if you guys know me under any circumstances, you know that I'm not really an unrealistic person. I don't expect dogs to stop doing the things that they were bred and born to do. However, I do put all of the emphasis and the homework on the owners. So if I'm out with Burley, he sees another dog, he perks up, he gets suspicious. I say, leave it. Okay, I don't want to leave it, right? But I need to leave it, right? So there's that like term suppression. We talk about suppression. I'm going to just pull up definition of suppression, because suppression in the dog training space has been uh, kind of like claimed this dirty word. Like a lot of people are like, oh, like suppression is bad and suppression is, and if you really are objective about what suppression is, suppression by definition under this context, like genetics, right, or psychology, is to restraint or repress an idea, activity, or reaction by something more powerful, right? So again, like you put your dog on a leash and they want to go this way and you tell them that they can't and you want to go this way, that's suppression, right? So there's certain things that we're going to start managing dogs with to manage their genetics. I'm going to take questions here in a moment, so I'll let you guys know when it's time for that. So I appreciate everyone hopping in here and hanging out with me today. But suppression is something that naturally happens with life, right? It's just you have to define what suppression is. Like a not so fair suppressive situation would be downing a dog that doesn't know down in a very unrealistic and unfair situation, maybe downtown, surrounded by other dogs sniffing their butt. That's an unfair suppression activity, exercise, right? But asking your dog to down that has downed their whole life and they know it, while maybe a dog walks by with a family and a stroller, that's fair suppression, right? That's, and it's also like obedience in general. Like, but that's what obedience is. Like suppression is kissing cousins with impulse control. It's kissing cousins with obedience. All of that stuff kind of goes into one. And I'm always like super interested to see some dog trainers like, oh, they're using suppression and they act like that's a bad thing. It's like every single dog owner in the entire world uses suppression with their dog every single day. If you go outside and your dog wants to go with you and you tell them they can't, that's what you're doing, right? So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I want to talk about genetics because it's just top of my mind right now. Just understanding like you can't change your dog's genetics, but it is crucial and important for you to really emphasize your management systems, your communication, and your expectations. Again, somebody comes, rings my doorbell. I am not upset. I am not confused. I am not, yeah, if my dogs bark, I don't care. They're dogs. That's what they do. But your job is to be able to say, hey, knock it off, go to your bed, right? Now that's like the second part of that equation. That's the caveat here. We're going to be taking live questions. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me and you can see me okay. Yesterday I was messing around with my Wi-Fi quite a bit. And apparently, your upload speed is something that fluctuates pretty much, pretty significantly. So hopefully we're fluctuating in the right way and you guys can see me and hear me okay. Next time I move or next time I go into a place, I'm getting that, what's that called? What's that called where you just, not Ethernet, but it's like when you plug right in and it's like crazy. I'm getting that next time. Forget what it's called, but anyway. We're going to be taking questions here in a minute. Really quickly, I just wanted to say there's two things I want to announce that have not been announced yet. And the first thing is we just came out with a brand new course, literally just dropped 15 minutes ago. It's called the Master the Walk, Master the Heel. And we've been working on it for about 2 months now. And it's finally out, and it goes over every single thing that you need to help your dog become a great walker. But one of the things that we talk about, and like one of the opening things that I say in that, is literally like, we're not going to teach your dog how to stop pulling on the leash, but what we are going to do is I'm going to teach you how to teach your dog how to heel. So I'm a big believer in teaching your dog what they should be doing to instead of trying to stop what they're already doing. I'm gonna drop it right here. The other thing, oh, I'm on the wrong thing. The other thing that I wanted to announce was I anybody who's coming to my my England seminar in September. So what is that, next month? we are doing included in the ticket prices. We are doing a free level up for dog trainers the first day and the second day. So that means if you buy a ticket between now and August, I think August 20th, we are including the level up um, course, which means you get to hang out with me in a VIP intimate setting with a bunch of other dog trainers and ask questions about how to build your business, how to grow your company, how to become a better dog trainer. And so after everyone leaves, we have this kind of VIP thing, and that's going to be included in the ticket prices now. So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, those are just some things. Those are just some things that we're on my mind right now. But brand new course just dropped. Super excited. Again, we worked super hard on it. If anybody is struggling with their dog on leash walking, it's there and it's going to live on the internet forever. And I'm very proud of it. All right, let's take some questions. Again, good morning, guys. Thank you for being here. New York, it's nice. What is it? 10:17 a.m. here. It is a pretty nice day. The dogs are walked. The dogs are fed. Hanging out with you guys doesn't get better than this. Alyssa asks, how can I help my elderly diabetic Dorky? I wonder what that is. Who just lost an eye, regain her confidence, and be less scared of everything. Well, I think the first thing that you should do is just rebuild confidence in general, not just how do I build confidence in a elderly diabetic one-eyed dog. So all you would do is it just takes time. Like building confidence just takes time. That's like one of the only things that I talk about in my seminars that I can't do within that weekend because it does take time. And so, a lot of people don't do their dog justice by picking them up all the time, especially if they're a smaller dog, or talking to them too much. A lot of times you just want to put a leash on your dog and just guide them through the situation and not make big deals out of things. So that would be my suggestion, is just don't make big deals out of things. Keep her moving. Use that momentum to keep your dog in the forward motion. So that's, if you have any other questions on that, just let me know. All right, let's take some more questions. Moose Freeman, I'm going to start here and I'm going to go down. So if you guys have asked your questions in the top, just re-ask them, I guess. And I'm just going to pick questions that I think are going to be helpful for the group. How do you reintroduce two dogs without a trusted handler for the non-aggressive dog? How do you reintroduce two dogs? You'll have to rephrase that because that makes no sense to me. Did they get into a fight? Is it a new person? Ask that question again. Thank you, Kathy. Joshua, do you think training chows are hard? I have a chow and they are fiercely loyal. I don't think so. Again, genetics matter, but it's not, again, like with Burley, like he's a big protective dog. Lakota is a very high drive dog, but it doesn't necessarily like predicate my every training aspect with the dog. So chows are not a super popular breed. I don't see hardly any of them. So I have very little experience with them, but I would say that chows are like any other breed, that they're eager to work, they're loyal, and they may be a little bit more stubborn and defiant than other dogs because they're not typically like a working dog, right? Like Lakota's a working dog. I want what you have. I'll do anything for it. Burley, maybe a chow, any other mastiff. I have my own job. Don't interfere with what I think I need to do, right? So that's a good example of that. Deloria says, like the shirt, Tom, you're a little blurry. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could change that for you. My Wi-Fi says it's top notch, and so I see myself in 4K right now. So I guess it is what it is. When are you coming to Colorado again? 2 weeks. I'm going to Aspen. Ted's Killer Cacti. Good morning. My 2-year-old my old English is pretty well behaved at home, but when she goes to the vet and becomes psycho excited, pees everywhere, jumps on people. How do you train the correct behavior? Again, something I've been saying. I'm probably going to say this 5 times this live. It's something I say every single live, no matter how many times I say it. There's always new people who don't know it or just forget it or don't listen when I talk. But don't try to stop things. Again, you need good enough obedience to handle your dog in these situations. So if you go to a really excitable place and you don't have any obedience, you're going to fail. It doesn't. So don't try to stop your dog from getting excited to go to the vet. You're never going to do that. It's never going to happen. Don't try to suppress your dog to a point where you're like, hey, don't be excited. It's more about, hey, listen to me. I know what you want to do, but you got to pay attention. And 9 times out of 10, dog owners don't have the skill sets and they haven't put enough time into working with their dog to achieve their goals, right? Everyone wants to have more money, but they don't want to work harder. Everyone wants to lose more weight, but they won't spend time in the gym, right? Same exact thing with dog training. A lot of people like, how do I just stop this? How do I get rich fast? How do I lose 20 pounds tomorrow? You can't. You got to put in the work. You go into a vet's office, you tell your dog to down, you tell your dog to stay. Do they want to get up? Do they want to see people? Do they want to get excited? Absolutely. But because you have good obedience and skill sets, they're not going to. And I could bet probably my whole life that you don't have those skill sets, and that's why you're failing. And so you could pay a dog trainer $1 million to say, how do I stop this? And it's not going to happen unless you put in the work to teach your dog what you want them to do. That's a big part of my new course, guys. I'll drop it in the. I already dropped it, but I'll drop it again. But that's one of the biggest things that we talked about in our new course. I'm not going to teach you how to stop your dog from pulling. That's a quick, easy fix that's not going to be sustainable. But what I am going to do is I'm going to teach you the principles of teaching your dog what we want them to do alternatively. So if your dog is pulling you on the leash, what would you want them to do alternatively? Walk nice, okay? That's called the heel command. Do you have it? Have you worked on it? How much have you worked on it? Right? These are big parts of dog training. Hopefully that's helpful. Kathy, training 2-year-old not to pull, walk both dogs first and then separately for 5 to 10 minutes. Yep. No thoughts on that. That's exactly what you want to do. And again, the dog pulling thing is a question I get so much, but it's such an when your dog is pulling you, again, like a lot of times we make it worse by yelling, shouting, pulling back, getting into environments. Like we have 12 different sections in the brand new Master the Walk course that will bring you thoroughly through all of that with a dog who literally drags me out of the kennel. And then by the end of the course is walking on a loose leash next to a new dog. So cool. Operation. Hey, Tom, I just got a new puppy 2 days ago. I'm trying to teach him his name and make eye contact, but he doesn't sit. You do not have to get your dog to sit for them to look at you. Go to my puppy playlist and look at engagement with Burley that I did. It's free. Check it out right now. I did have him sit, but you don't have to. Having good engagement with your dog doesn't require a sit. You have to teach the behavior of focus and look. And what you do is you get a piece of food. Let's say this is my food. You put it here and you say, look, yes, look, yes, look. The dog is looking at your face. You move the food away, they're going to follow the food. The moment they look back at you, you then pay them. So the idea is teaching the dog to look at you is what you want. And then you build the 3Ds, distance, distraction, and duration to build that behavior out, just like we do every other behavior in dog training. So please let me know if you have any other questions on that, but keep it simple. Keep it simple, have fun. And the last thing I would say on that is don't overdo it. Don't try to work your puppy on something new for half an hour. Do 5 to 10 minute sessions, end it, try it again. Monica, will you be offering the level up option for October? No. Okay, good question. So the reason why we're offering the level up in England, which we won't ever probably do again, is because the venue that we originally picked for England closed. It's this big, massive school that's been in business forever. It's a private school, beautiful facility. It's Northern England, it's closer to Scotland. We were so excited, and they literally closed. And so we had to last minute switch our venue, and we lost a bunch of people because it's further away. And so we're trying to incentivize people to go to England and go to my seminar with the level up included, because 80% of my audience members are dog trainers. And we just, we want to make it worthwhile. If we don't get enough people, we can't go. We'll have to cancel the event, which we've never had to do. But we've also never had a facility pull out halfway on the timeline of our event. So good question. Lynn, oh my gosh, shoot. I lost my place. Lynn, where are you? Lynn, I'm trying to go down the line here, y'all. Thanks for being patient. Oh, gosh, dang it. Dang, dude. All right, I think I found it. Lynn, confused about slip leads. Some say high up behind the ears, quite tight. Others say slacked. Anybody who tells you a slip lead needs to be down. There's things in dog training that are absolutes, and there's not very many of them. Most of dog training is extremely discretionary. If anybody tells you that the slip lead needs to be down around the dog's throat and loose, run. That's all I got to say. That is absolutely patently false. Wow, that I didn't think that was coming today, but that is a really incredibly ignorant. My business has gone downhill due to ban on tools. Sorry to hear that. That's why it's important to be able to, and it shouldn't affect you. It should just affect, the dog owners who come in. We do seminars all over the world. I did a seminar in Netherlands last year. Every single tool in the book was banned except for harnesses, basically. We still crushed it. We still had a great seminar. We still taught a lot. But the dog owners struggled a little bit more because they couldn't use the tools that were actually built and made inappropriate for what they were working with. But the next pod, Alice, is dropping, I think, Wednesday. It's going to be a pod in person with a dog trainer from Florida. Alan, is it possible to see some videos of what? But regardless, it'll drop next week for sure. We'll have a couple next week now that I'm home and I'm back in the driver's seat. Is it possible to see some videos of what most dog owners have to deal with when at home? I have a year-old. I don't know what that means, Alan. What most dog owners have to deal with at home. My suggestion is go to my recent video, and I posted the 5 things that all dog owners should do before walks. That may be helpful, but that is a very, I don't understand that question. I switched to raw food thanks to you. Good. Hopefully it's helpful. Prong collar. How do you use one with an English Mastiff or similar dog with baggy skin around the neck? It constantly slips down. Any type of collar that has action is going to slip down. It's just part of it. You want to make sure that your prongs are sized properly and that they're pulled up, way up, right behind the dog's ears, and you're using the right equipment. It's a good question though. Thug Life Kitty Cat. Your tips on 5 things to do before walk is really helpful. I can tell the difference between our dog's behavior. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm glad that that's helpful for you. Sierra, 4-year-old golden Aussie, is still struggling with reactivity, has improved a lot, but still grumbles around other dogs. Am I not correcting? Well, listen, here's Sierra. This is exactly what I was saying before. Is like you have to pick your battles here. Like you have to be realistic. Our 4-year-old dog struggled with reactivity, but has improved a lot, but still grumbles. Don't worry about it. How's that? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the grumble. If I went out with my dog who is super reactive and we got to a point where now the dog looks and just goes, success. Don't be so hard on yourself. And also, your dog is just telling you, I don't really like being around these dogs. You can't shut that valve all the way off with some dogs. Take that as a win. Be proud of that. Be happy with that, and know that you've done everything. Kate Foster. I have 3 bloodhounds. One was surrendered with multiple issues, but I can't seem to figure out how to work with reactivity, all 3 of them together. Work on them individually, and then as you work on them individually, then you'll bring them out and then work on them together. That would be my answer without the context. Kate Flip, 14-month-old St. Bernard, super reactive to other dogs and people. Seems like it comes from fear, but as you can imagine, she's a big girl. You got to give me more context. That's like saying to a mechanic, "Hey, my car's making noise. What do I do?" I don't know. Do you have 4 weeks to talk about it? Right. So you got to give me more context than that. It's not just like my dog doesn't listen. Help. Okay. It's like pulling up to the Grand Canyon and saying, "Yeah, they're just down there in the Grand Canyon." Okay. Well, that's going to take 2 years to figure out. Geo, what are you planning on doing with your Borble? Nothing. Flawless Paws. Hi, Tom. Dog trainer from the UK here. I have rescued a male border collie pup, working type. Had him for 10 weeks ish. Was dumped at vets, severely underweight. Has fear of people. Any ideas? What's the question? Like, you're just telling me all, and I'm not trying to be rude, but you're just telling me all the things that the dog has. Any ideas onto what? Like that, I need more specific questions, guys. I can't just say, it'll take me days to figure out, like, oh, what's the problem? What have you worked on? Like, you got to be specific so I can help you. And then my other thing on that would be, come to my seminar that's next month. You can work with me in person. Vinald, Donald, my Burble, who looks exactly like Burley, is scared to walk down the stairs at my home, but only in my house. I tried everything, but it doesn't work. Any tips? My suggestion would be, get a long. Have you done a long line, Vinald? Go to the end of the stairs with the long line and encourage your dog to come down. If they have the ability to fight you next to you, there's a good chance you're going to be there for a while. Nick, I see so many videos of people saying you can see those dogs doesn't like the kid in the video. How do you know your dog is okay with your young child? It's a great question. I think genetics play a big role in that. My dog was specifically bred. The mom and dad were specifically bred for family dog. So it's like, if mom lived a life of 10 years that loves kids, and dad lived a life of 5, whatever, 5 years, whatever, and they all love kids, like, that plays a big role. Um, but also, just like, I don't know, I think just knowing dogs, like, you have to be respectful. You have to just know dogs. Like, I think that's what it comes down to, is, if you're unsure on how to read your dog, if you're unsure on how to read dog body language, and your child is actively working with a dog, petting a dog, being around a dog, your job is to say, "Hey, I don't know what this dog is thinking," and you move the kid away, period. So I would just say, like, experience is really, it's like, I saw this video back in the day of Tony Hawk on a skateboard with his young child, like, in diapers, going up and down a half pipe. And people in the comments were like, "This is so," um, some people in the comments, of course, because the internet's a funny place, were like, "This is so irresponsible." But I'm like, it's Tony Hawk. What are you talking about? Like, you couldn't, that guy spins in the air 7 times, 20 feet in the air, and doesn't fall. Like, you know what I mean? He's holding his child, which he loves the most, in his backyard on a half pipe that he could do backflips on, sleeping. So I think that, like, that's like, what comes to my mind is, like, you have to know dogs, and also just, like, know that dogs can be unpredictable, and you have to be mindful of that. Like, you have to be prepared. And it's also your relationship with your dog. Like, do you have the ability to tell your dog to leave it, to walk away? Um, it's a really good question, and I think there's a lot of answers that can come into that. But I think at the end of the day, like, you really just need experience on reading dog body language to know what is appropriate and what isn't. But there's just, like, for me, there's nevers, right? Where, if a dog is eating, kids are never around. They can be, but they're never around because it's just stupid, right? It's an animal. If they're chewing on a bone, be mindful of these things. If the kid, for me, if my kid is actively petting one of the dogs, especially Burley, because he's young and big and dumb and silly, like, I'm watching that. I'm supervising that, right? I'm not just like, "Yeah, do what you want." And then there's, like, respectful things of, like, I'm not going to put my kid on the dog and ride it around the yard, right? Like, there's just things, and just, like, a lot of the stuff that you see online, guys, is the dog is throwing up, like, flags for minutes before an incident unfortunately happens. And that's just because people don't know dogs. And so they're taking a young child and putting it with, it's like me hopping. It's like me hopping on a skateboard with my 10, 11-month old. That's not a good idea. Like, I'm going to fall. kid could fall with me. Not a good idea. Like, I'm not Tony Hawk, right? So I don't know. I think it's just a lot of it is experience as well. It's a great question. Dolores, good morning, Tom from Texas. I'm just wanting to improve my timing reward with the right command. My suggestion is have your food or your reward preloaded. So a lot of people, and have a marker system. So if you have a yes or a clicker system with your dog, that is invaluable to your timing. So the dog does the behavior yes or click, and then they get reinforced with food. So that would be my answer to that. I wanted to ask you if you're going to visit Poland one day. We thought about it. There was a Polish couple or business partners that came to my seminar in Netherlands, and we thought about it. We just were unsure of if we'd pull enough people, because that's the thing about seminars is you got to go to places. Like, we don't get paid by a company to go to places. We go to places and market the seminar and collect ticket sales. So if we go to England's a perfect example. Like, the ticket sales are really low because we had to switch venues. And so I don't know, there's a chance that we might not go because it's so that was the same thing with Poland, is like, we just didn't know if it would be worth it. We don't want to lose money. So totally okay with breaking even, but we don't want to lose money, right? So it's good. I don't know. Nubala. My German Shepherd's hair stands up when we see another dog. He doesn't bark, but if is super focused on them. How do I get him not to focus on them and relax? Teach your dog how to focus on you. Easy. Edgar, I have a husky cage, loves to dig holes in my backyard. How do I stop her from doing that? Recall and leave it. You're going to keep seeing me, guys, and I'm not trying to be snarky, but you're going to keep seeing me answer these questions because people don't have the skill sets to do the things they want to do with dogs. These questions to me are like, hey, Tom, how do I lose 20 pounds this week? I'm like, you can't. But what you can do is you can start with this, that, and the other thing, right? So recall, leave it. Easy. You're not going to stop your dog from doing what dogs do, but what you can do is manage it, right? The other thing I will say on digging holes is your dog is probably bored. A lot of dogs who go into the backyard and start digging holes are doing it because they don't have any outlets. Trying to keep up with these questions. Salon toilage, sassy paws. I beg to differ about chows. A new groomer, chows are aggressive, have been bit 4 times. There you go. Hi, Tom. Hey, cut girly. How is a proper reset done? A proper reset is just having clear goals. It would be about we have a bundle on this on my courses. Like, it's called the reset, and so what it is just going back to the basics. A lot of people who need a reset don't have foundation. That's what it's about. People who don't have a foundation typically need to be reset, right? So they don't have thresholds, they don't have boundaries, they don't have the 5 basic commands, right? All of that is done. I have tons of content on that on YouTube, and I also have a reset bundle with the courses that you need for that. So Darren, I have a 14-week-old Borbol male puppy showing aggression to anyone and not my immediate family. Can we make him friendly to people we welcome into the house, or no because of the breed? I think that's a genetics question. Like, depending on how much history do you know about the mom and dad? How were they? Did you see them? Did you get eyes on them? Did you hang out with them? That's my answer. But then also just you're starting to load a very dangerous situation where now, if you own a Borbol, this is your life forever. I mean, if you own a Borbol, your life is really tied to what they are. They're extremely protective, big, strong, scary dogs. And you have to manage them their whole life, regardless of their intentions, because of how big they are. So meaning if somebody wants to come into the house and they want to go kiss them to death, they're huge. And you still have to manage that. So 14-week-old dog who's starting to show signs of aggression, you need to talk to the breeder and you need to get into training as soon as possible. Is it possible to work through it? Yes, but you have to do it yesterday in order to really tackle this with that dog. Canada, we're not doing any seminars. This is the last year of seminars for a while. Next year, we're not seminaring at all. We did Canada. When did we do Canada? Twice last year, I think. So, John Ryan, what is the best collar for a 3-month-old German Shepherd puppy? A slip leash, prong, or heavy to stop heavy pulling? Again, I'm going to say this again. Don't try to stop stuff, guys. You're gonna. Anybody who says, "How do I stop this?" I'm going to keep coming back to this conclusion because, again, it's literally like somebody coming into a gym to a personal trainer and saying, "How do I stop getting fat? How do I make me more healthy?" It's like you got to exercise, you got to eat healthy, right? You're not just going to stop doing something, okay? So you got to teach your dog what the heel command is. You got to teach your dog what leash pressure is. Do you know how to hold a leash? Has anybody ever taught you how to hold a leash? Has anybody taught you directional changes, the tune-up, the calibration, implementing and capturing the heel behavior before you go outside to even remotely ask your dog to walk nicely, especially at that age? 3-month-old German Shepherd puppy, if you start trying to tell what they can't do, it's not going to be sustainable and your dog is going to be pulling you for the rest of your life. Lucky for you, John, I could sit here and talk even for the next half an hour on the live, and it's still not going to give you enough information to be successful. I came out with a brand new course. It's pinned on the top. Master the heel. It's inexpensive. It's like $120 USD. We spent a long time on it. And not to mention, we spent a long time on the production and the post-production, but it's also the 13 years, 14 years of everything here into that course for a little over $100. I'm not trying to get rich on courses, guys. I'm just trying to help people. That course will definitely help you, my friend. Moose Freeman, my question was pretty much along the lines, how do you reintroduce two dogs after getting into a fight? Okay, that wasn't in the question, so I get what you're saying now. One of them is aggressive. One of them is aggressive, reactive. So some dogs don't like each other, and they're never going to like each other again, unfortunately. And so you're going to have to do a lot of create and rotate. You're going to have to do a lot of management, and you just have to be, your expectations have to be realistic. So before, maybe your dogs were playing and having fun and rolling around and then they got older and now they don't like each other. So that's never going to go back to that, likely. And again, I don't know the context. I would need much more, but there's a good chance that you're just going to have to manage the dog separately now. And it comes down to obedience. Obedience is communication. So if you say, okay, my dog's obedience, aka communication, is very limited, right? So if you don't have good communication with your dog, but you want them to do stuff and you want them to do very difficult things, you're going to fail. So that's my answer. Georgia Moody, my mom's dog, both boys, also one is dad and one is the son. They getting into fights over food and toys. How do you go about training them not to fight? You're not going to train them not to fight because they probably don't like each other and they have resource guarding. So again, guys, you're not going to just stop your dogs from doing things. I know that these are old questions, and hopefully by the time I get down here to the questions now in real time, we don't have any more questions on how do I stop my dog from being a dog, because it's not going to happen. You have to have the skill set. So if I have a dog that has a bone and a dog that has a bone, I would say, leave it, boom, come, boom. You don't have that. So you're not going to be successful. You have to have good obedience in order to be successful. People who spend money, that's interesting to me. I didn't even know, like last live we did, people were paying money and it gives me this little highlighted thing like, pay attention to me. Can I heart this? I hearted that. I can like this too. Will you come to Canada, Ontario, Montreal? We already did. We did a whole tour in Canada. I'm looking at a picture of me in Canada right there. So yeah, we did. It was a lot of fun. Okay. I think we're okay. I'm trying to get back to where I was. Do I know anything about Black Mountain Curs? Yes, they're very high energy dogs. Are you participating in the New York State Canine Expo, Cobleskill, New York Fairgrounds? I am not. I don't know how I would. My dog completely shuts down when he has e-collar on. How do I get her to like the collar? Um, you let me know what collar you have, and also if you've introduced it in a non-punitive way. Meaning, is the stimulation, here's my answer, is you probably introduced it wrong. Your low level stimulation on the dog are punitive, and that's why your dog doesn't like it. I don't see any other reason why your dog would act like that. How come you're not doing any seminars next year? Because we're taking a break. We've been on the road. We're on the road 30 weeks out of the year, internationally and domestically, and we're just going to take a break, and we're going to, focus. That's what I wanted to do this year, to be honest with you. I said that in the beginning of the year. It didn't work like that because now we're still, we're doing, well, we're just, because then we got like family travel too, right? We just did Scotland, and now we're doing Nantucket, and then Aspen, and then England, and then we're doing a month in Australia, and then we're doing New Zealand, and then we're coming back, and then we have a couple more things around New York. And so it's just like never ending. And I just want, like, where my kids are not constantly knowing, and they don't mind, like they're at the age where they don't care, but it's like I also want them to, yeah. So we're just taking a year off, maybe more, and really just, kind of getting back to the roots of what we do and work. Kylie, top tip on how to get a 1-year-old hyper and anxious puppy not to be afraid around strangers and other dogs. She was born a rescue, no trauma as far as I know. Good question. So time is important here. Like it does take quite a bit of time to get a dog to build confidence, as it does with people. And so my suggestion is just go to new places and try to do the things the dog loves. So if your dog is food motivated, I would be getting all your food, put it in a treat pouch, going out and working on doing individual, training sessions in these environments, right? So building confidence through motivation, right? So we do it every day with our kids, but it's the same thing as like trying to motivate the dog to do things that they may be uncomfortable with, or maybe they don't even want to do, right? Like, I don't want to eat chicken. I'm like, okay, I get it. 3-year-old doesn't want to eat chicken. All right, if you eat your chicken, we will do this, right? So it's part of like building confidence of like, okay, I'll do it. I'll work through it. I'll do something I don't really want to do. And then, hey, it's not so bad. Like we did that last night with my son. He like ended up eating a whole chicken breast because in the beginning, he's like, I don't want to do this. The same thing with dogs. They're like, I'm afraid of this. I don't know. And you're like, hey, here's all your food. Oh, I like this. And then they're like, hey, this isn't so bad. So that would be my answer. Are you ever coming to Kentucky? No. How do I train my dog to go up the stairs without physically blocking him? How do I train my dog not to go up the stairs? Impulse control. Put your dog on a leash. Work on your stay. And super easy. Really easy. Slip lead or prong collar for a pug mix. Allie says, I lost that. Prong collars are typically more safer than the slip leads for any dog. So that would be my answer. Tom Rose is not doing any classes in 2026 and no longer VA approved. What do you suggest to replace him in schools? Good question. I don't know. I've always thought about doing that, like starting my own dog training school, because there's the Tom Rose, Michael Ellis is done. There's the Star Mark, but there's not a lot of like people doing that. And I've actually been thinking about that recently because it is a big, I love, as you guys know, I love teaching. It's my passion. I love educating. And it's something I've thought about because I think there's a big void out there. But it's just so much things that I'm not good at, like organization. So it's something that let me know in the comments. Like, what do you guys think of that? I want, you guys know me. You know what you think of me. Would you be interested in coming to like a 2-week or a month school where you come and bring a dog or work with a dog, and then we go over different aspects of school? Like, developing your business and how to train and doing a board and train and, doing social media. Like that's something that we've definitely thought about. Like the Tom Davis School for Dog Trainers, something like that. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Mm-hmm. So back to the e-collar question. My mom got the e-collar and started pressing buttons. There you go. So you got to reintroduce the e-collar. I'm trying to like collect where we're at here. Davel. I have a 2-year-old mutt that doesn't like when large trucks pass around her and doesn't like loud noises. I have her sit, but she starts shaking. Any tips? So that's more of an involuntary thing. I wouldn't ask her to sit. What I would do is just allow her to soak into that. So desensitize these things. So, excuse me, go to places that your dog is going to see these things, hear these things, and start associating these things with something good, something positive. So this is likely just again, an involuntary reaction. Like, I don't know what to do here. This makes me nervous. And your dog is shaking, right? That's involuntary. The dog isn't trying to shake or wanting to shake, or, it's a very involuntary thing. And so my suggestion is to just get into these environments, heavily pay the dog. It's one of the videos that we're actually, I think, working on next week, is like how to build confidence in an insecure dog. And so that'd be my suggestion. Hello from Taiwan. Hi, Tom. Our 1-year-old Samoyed is sensitive to thunder, and he's really anything to do. No, thunder and lightning and fireworks, nobody can do anything about. The only thing you can do is like what we do if we know that there's going to be a storm or fireworks. I put my dog, Lakota, because Burley doesn't care. I put her downstairs in a crate, and I put on like loud music or a movie, and you just try to like avoid the dog hearing these things. That's my answer on that. If your dog is to a point, so that's it. Lakota deals with that all the time, and we just try to be proactive. Medication is also super helpful because the dog actually thinks that they're going to die. And so that is helpful during, if you have a 1-day thunderstorm and the dog is just heart rate is through the roof all day, it's not great. Medication is good to help with that as well. How do you stop your dog from freaking out in the car? Well, I think that, dogs getting into this metal box and going 70 miles per hour it can be a scary thing. And so I don't think it's like a goal or a realistic expectation to say, I don't want you to care about this. I think it would be more about, okay, you're innately and instinctually and involuntarily reacting to this scary thing. Some dogs care, some dogs don't. And so what I try to do is I don't want to waste your time and say, oh, get into the car and feed them. And like that desensitization process probably is not going to do anything for you. It's going to be a waste of time. So what I do is I just say, okay, my dog doesn't like the car. I get it. We're going to put the dog into a crate in the back of the car, and we're just going to go and kind of just deal with it. Right. And that's really like the best and safest way to do it, is to just say, this is what you got to do. I know you don't love it, but this is what you got to do. Right. So that would be my honest answer on that. I've seen a lot of videos on how to make your dog less reactive. What should I do if my dog isn't reactive, but other dogs are? Nothing. If your dog is not reactive, just keep moving. It's a good question. Dina, on trails, daughter's dog has been attacked repeatedly by loose dogs. When hearing other dogs step off a trail, dogs sit behind her and she protects her dog. Any thoughts on how to fight an attacking dog? If you're going, first of all, like for me, again, what you guys are on here is for my honest opinion, and I just wouldn't go to those places anymore. Like if I went to a trail or a hike where my dog was attacked multiple times, I'm not going there anymore. Like I'm finding a new place. But alternatively, and I don't know the context. If you live in an area where that's not realistic, then get something called Halt spray, HALT. You can get it on Chewy. You can get it on Amazon. It's a pepper spray specifically made to target off-leash aggressive dogs. Have your daughter carry a stick. do everything you can to protect you and your dog. And that's my suggestion. That's what I would do. Like if I had a, well, I don't know, Burley can defend himself. But if I had an off leash dog trying to come up and attack me, I would do everything I can to protect my dog, or in some cases, everything I can to protect the oncoming dog, trying to, Connor Morgan, you and Will Atherton are fantastic trainers, and you both have really helpful. I'm looking forward to see you train in the UK this summer. Hey, see you soon, Connor. Kathy says, I always carry Halt. Halt is one of those things that like just give you confidence where you're like, oh, if anything happens, I got this, and it's nice to have. I would agree. I'm down at the very bottom, guys. So if you have questions, fire them away. I might have missed some. There was a bunch. Before we do that, there's like 130, 150 people in and out. Hit that like button. I'd love to see you guys show some support there. And again, we just put out a brand new course. I'm super excited about. It's a good one. I'm very excited. I can actually show it to you. I think I can I share my screen on YouTube Live? That's kind of cool. Let me share this with you. I think you guys can see this. So this is the brand new page for it. It really goes over everything that's successful with your dog for a. So this is it, guys. And again, I will leave the link in the description about launching this. We've worked extremely hard on it. And it just so like we were doing this live regardless, and it just so happened. Thank you for the 30 people who just liked this page and counting. Appreciate you guys. But I didn't do this. I'm always like mindful of like I don't want people to think we went live to promote that. We tried to upload that course 2 weeks ago before Scotland, and we just couldn't. And we've had such technical difficulties. It's been absolutely so crappy to do it, but it's finally up. So I'm just excited to get it out there. Can you set your school up in Colorado? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? How do I stop my dogs from approaching people on the streets when they say hi to me? It's annoying. Tell them to sit. Easy. Dalton, my 7-month-old puppy walks great on a prong collar, and then when not using it, he goes back to pulling. It's because your dog doesn't know heel. Your dog knows that when they pull with the prong collar on that they get corrected and they get punished, and they don't want that, but your dog doesn't actually know the heel. You're in luck, Dalton, because I just came up with a course that goes over that. Because that's the thing is like everyone tries to tell their dog they want to stop their dog from pulling. I'm like, don't try to just stop your dog from pulling. I mean, that's a nice like romantic idea, but what you really want to do is teach your dog how to walk nicely. That's what you want to do, right? It's like somebody saying like, I keep crashing my car. I keep crashing my bike. I'm like, why don't you learn how to ride? Don't try to say like, how do I make the crash less intense or safer? Learn how to ride. That's what this course is about. Check it out. Aofi, I think. Hi, Tom, could you please talk about fear periods with puppies and how to navigate through them? I think it's just exactly that. You just push through them. Dogs have these fearful times when they're puppies and adolescents because they're insecure and they don't know what life's about yet. And it's totally normal. And for me, I just push through them because they're easy come, easy go. Push through them. Don't change anything. Keep training. Keep building motivation, and just keep at it. I'm trying to. Captain Yobagoya. A 5-year-old pit bull I adopted 2 years ago. He is reactive to my neighbor's dogs who will bark at him to the fence. How do I help him avoid dangerous behavior like breaking his nails on the fence? Recall. Tell him to come back. You're not going to stop your dog from barking at another dog on the fence. You're going to recall your dog off the fence so he doesn't hurt himself. Easy. Mamas. I have a Doberman that is passive of me in my home. What is the best way to work with him to show it's okay for some people to come, but still, that's genetics, that's personality. It's probably something you're not going to develop if the dog doesn't have it, right? In my opinion, in my experience. So that's just your dog being like, I don't really care. How do you teach your dog how to care? That's tough to do. Same thing with people. How do I teach her to care more about this? It's like I gotta want to do it. You know what I mean? Sarah, that's a good question. Actually, let me get into that. I said I was going to answer questions. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to answer questions on that right now. Let me pull that up. So I was going to answer questions of the post that I did, and so I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, let's go to community. Hold on, I gotta find it, y'all. Bop, bop, bum. Okay. All right. Whoa. There's a bunch in here. So let me just find your question, Sarah, on here. I completely forgot about that. I have a retired racing greyhound from Australia. His prey drive is high, and I've been running him in the yard multiple times a day to help with his reactivity and training. He wants to kill small dogs and critters. It is what he was born and raised to do. Yep. I just want to teach him how to be neutral so we can walk outside in the yard. We are working on basics right now, and he can. So right now, if you're working on basics, that's going to take a great deal of communication and obedience. So you go outside, and your dog's like, "Hey, this is what I want to do," and you say, "Yeah, but you're going to heel. You're going to leave it. You're going to focus." And when you're doing that in that environment, is a extremely high level ask, right? It's a level 3 ask. And so right now it sounds like you're doing all the right things by working on the basics and building them up to get to the advanced level. So when you go out, it's not about teaching your dog not to want to, telling a fish not to swim. It's more about, I know what you want to do. We talked about it at the beginning of this video. I know what you want to do, but you can't do it. So he was raised in the martingale, so the slip lead he will choke. The prong works for him, but only for the heel command, which he does pretty well. I'm thinking it might be biology since he can't really sit or lay like most dogs. Any tips on how to get the ball rolling and getting him starting with the down would be amazing. I don't want him to hurt him doing pressure. I think I would honestly work on the stand, like just the stay. Screw the stand, do the stay. Like I would work on the stay position unless you need the dog to down for a particular reason. I would just work on the stay. Like your dog doesn't have to be in a down stay, although it has its benefits. But again, like, is the juice worth the squeeze with a dog that might be uncomfortable going into a down? I would honestly just work on the stay. Where if your dog's in a sit, if your dog's in a down, if your dog is standing, stay a stay. I do it with Lakota every day. We're out for a walk. She's off leash. I see a car. Lakota, stay. I just tell her, stay right here. Car passes. Okay, break. That's my suggestion. Sierra, huge thank you because your content has eliminated reactivity and super high reliable obedience, and you ignite passion for dog training. Awesome. Jason, hi there. I adopted a 5-year-old black shepherd a year ago, and he's becoming more neurotic. He paces the house and whines whenever he hears the cats run, a garbage disposal, or people laughing. He's on drugs. What's the question? There's no question here, my friend. Tommy Blackburn, I get a lot of owners saying they want to train with their dog to be loose in the house, but destroying things. Am I right by saying it's a personality conversation, not training? Yeah, and it's also just they have to earn the freedom. So yes, it's like Burley right now. We couldn't leave alone because he would get into things, and that's because of his age, his immaturity, and because he hasn't earned the freedom. So. And there is a chance that he never is going to be left alone. Really, I'd like him to be because that's why I got him. But yeah, it's more of a the dog just hasn't earned the freedom because they can't handle it, right? It's like they just don't have the maturity to do so. It's like a little kid trying to watch an R-rated movie. Like they're not developed enough to understand that this is just a movie. It's just acting. It's not real. Like blah blah blah. Like it's the same thing with dogs. So yeah, I would say that that's correct by saying like, hey, this is just your dog. You're gonna have to give it some time and then the right way to do it is just start off small, like a little X pen. X pen gets bigger. One room with a doggy door or a baby gate. Like you do it that way and see. Like if I put Burley in an X pen, he'd knock it over in 2 seconds. So that's not really. I just have to wait for him until he's probably 5 to cool and calm down. So, Moose, seriously, no good dog trainers around here, and I struggle to get business. And I would love to learn how to deal with advanced aggression. I'm trying to find. Let me just start from a random place. Flawless paws, fear with people, barks, hackles up, and will avoid at all costs. Will warm up to people eventually over multiple days. No intent to bite. Reduce stress and not treat. Only toy. What's the question? There's no question there. You're just telling me things, which is fine. You can tell me all you want. What do you think of the IACP certifications? I don't know much about it, but I think it's good. I think like having some academia and learning things about dogs from that end is great. I think that's a good thing to do. I can't really say because I don't really know too much about it. Alicia, should my dog sleep in his crate in my bedroom or should he be in his own room? That's fine. I mean, you really just have to look at like what if there's a problem, right? Like that's totally fine. Like if your dog's cool with that, then that's fine. Catch what bites. Advise on handling borderline dangerous behavior from unwitting dog owner combo when out in public. How do we stop ourselves from offering assistance? Let me read this again. Advice on handling borderline dangerous behavior from unwitted dog owner combo when out in public. How do we stop ourselves from offering assistance? I don't understand that question. I'm sorry. It's probably me. If you want to re-ask it, you can. My 10-month-old German Shepherd, I think, got attacked on a walk by another dog. Best way to reduce his now overreactivity to other dogs and family. Just building confidence. Like it's like you walk on a floor and you slip. And now you're like, I don't want to walk on floors anymore. It's like, let me go show you 10 different floors that you walk on and you're not going to slip. So really just showing the dog that there's other dogs out there that aren't going to attack them. Building confidence that way is like the best way to go, in my opinion. Ginny, my dog won't sleep on the bed or couch with me. He doesn't cuddle and doesn't want to be. Does my dog like me? Yeah, your dog probably loves you. Your dog just doesn't want to cuddle with you. That's selfish for us. Cuddling with your dog is a selfish ask that we do as humans. Dogs could care less. So your dog is just being a normal animal. They don't give a shit about cuddling. It doesn't provide them anything. So don't think that my dog doesn't want to spoon with me, that your dog doesn't like you. No, your dog's an animal. They could give two shits about being that close to you. Period. I would say Kevin, 5-year-old, adopted German Shepherd, super, super smart and sweet, but she is reactive on leash with other dogs, super sensitive girl, so correcting her hard without shutting her down. You don't have to correct her hard. Like, I don't know, where that comes into play or why that's even like on the table. Like, you don't have to correct the dog hard at all, ever. You don't have to do that. You just correct the dog when they make a bad decision in order to clarify what you want them to do right. That's simple. Shania, my dog is getting increasingly afraid of going outside. She doesn't want to go out in the dark, doesn't like loud noises, and seems to be bothered by any yard sprays. Okay. Again, there's no question there, guys. If you're gonna put, like, it's totally fine if you just want to tell me about your dog, but if you have a question, you have to have a question. I just don't want you guys to get frustrated. Like, oh, Tom read my question but didn't answer it, because there is no questions in a lot of these. They're just, Tom, this is what's happening. Okay, tell me what you want to know. BNabs88. Tom, my dog can't do a proper sit for orthopedic reasons. Do you have any alternative suggestions to train him to do or try to get him to stay? Same thing I talked about before. You could just do a standing stay. Totally fine. Our next adventure. What's a good bone to give my 4-month-old puppy? He chews his toys and doesn't like the songs much. I don't know if you meant to say songs, but that's what you said. Every dog is different, but the Benebones are what Burley likes. I think it's like Bene bones. Maybe I can't remember. Google it. Teleport 73 trained the reactivity of my dog to most of dogs in our local park. But whenever he meets a new dog, it's back to square one. What can I do? It sounds like that's more of a personality thing, meaning that's how your dog meets new dogs. I think the goal would be, as long as your dog is meeting neutral dogs, it's probably not going to end up to be a problem. So I would try to decrease the duration of the reaction, continuing to do it a lot, I think. Suggestion. Garden retrieve. How do I stop my dog from being a dog? Thanks for the humor, because yes. I have a pit mix with a husky, and he growls at the kids and some adults when they pet him. How do I stop that? You don't. You just keep your dog away from people they don't know and kids. Alexis, what's the best way to keep a German Shepherd from barking? Leave it. How is your leave it command, Alexis? How often have you worked on that? How long have you worked on that? How can you desensitize a man? Lost it. I don't know what just happened. Oh, how to desensitize a fire truck when he rarely sees them. Fire department came for a possible fire, and my 160-pound English Mastiff was so scared of the fire truck, he took off, dragging me down the house. Well, I think if it's like, here's the way I see it is, how do I desensitize my dog to something that they probably will never hear again, or maybe once a year? To me, that juice isn't worth the squeeze of the stress. I would just, I mean, you don't. How do I desensitize my dog to something they may never hear again? What's the point? My dog who got neutered years ago still marks everything. How do I break this behavior so they finally stop? I think it would be managing the dog doesn't earn that freedom. If the dog is off leash, peeing all over your house, you need to crate your dog more. You need to isolate your dog more and stop giving them the freedom. Chris, advice on introducing my people to my Ovechkara. Loves my family, but can handle friends over without him going into guard mode. Well, those are guard dogs, from my understanding. Like, I think they're guardian dogs, livestock protectors, and so that's their job. So how do I stop my dog from being a dog? You don't. So again, it's going to be management with obedience, telling your dog to go to their place and stay. There's a good chance you don't have that in order, so you're not going to be able to do that. So my suggestion is put your dog away, or work on your obedience. I'm going to be answering questions from the post yesterday. Let me just get into these really quick. My GSD pup seems afraid of unknown people, especially men. He ducks down when they come near, sometimes reactive. I take him to places like Lowe's and Tractor Supply to expose him. We live on a farm in the middle of the woods, and he hasn't had much exposure to other people. But he's calm around animals and hasn't been exposed to them. I do take, he no longer is reactive. So I think the best thing to do here is Bird Lady Speaks is to continue to do what you're doing and continue to get around other dogs and other people, and continue to desensitize your dog with these things. Having these men or whatever your dog is afraid of be neutral to the dog is probably the best option. Like the dog comes out and they're like, oh, I'm nervous of this. And it's like, and then immediately once they're nervous, the person goes and pets him, and then it puts him overboard. Thank you guys for joining this live. We're going to continue to answer questions. I'm going to take a drink. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. If you guys are in here, we have over 100 people and only 80 likes. Let's get it to how many people are in here. So if you're in here, I'm answering these for free, helping you guys out on this lovely Monday morning. Kidding, Saturday morning. How do you improve your relationship with your dog? I think that to improve your relationship with the dog, you have to start off by teaching your dog basic obedience, in my opinion. Like basic obedience is quite literally your communication with your dog. Here's what I want you to do. Here's how I want you to do it. And that's my answer. Start off with the basics. Like building a better relationship with your dog is clarity. Right? Same thing with people. How do I build a good relationship with somebody? Work with them, get to know them, do things with them, do activities with them, teach them things, let them teach you things. MKZJF2E. How do we plan on turning to Oregon for a demonstration? No. Do you offer training for dog trainers? No. It's something that we talked about in this live already. So it's possible. Ways to help. Let's get back to Ted Graham. I have a 5X and pocket bullies. 2 are on my profile pics. Son from first litter and daughter. Okay, cool. Janet, how can I stop my border collie from being reactive to motorcycles, the mailman, and other things? People is mostly we want him to be home. I would go out and work on your leave it, and I would go out and work on your dog making better decisions. So, classic operant conditioning, going out, and if your dog tries to go after a motorcycle, we say leave it, we correct the dog, we say that's inappropriate behavior, and then we pay the dog for, making better decisions. Hi, Tom Martingale or prong collar, whatever you want. There is no exact what you have to do. Prong collars are typically just more safer. Ted, I have a 5X bully, pocket bullies. Oh, I already answered. I already just talked about that. Erneth, my GP viciously hates bully flat face breeds after a negative experience. Any tips on desensitized safety? We can't really avoid them all in my neighborhood. Yeah, I think it's just having good obedience. Again, if I was walking around with my very protective dog and another dog was reactive, he's going to react. So I have a good leave it, I have a good heel, and I have the tools in place to be successful. So that would be my answer. Alexis, what's the best way to keep a German Shepherd from barking? I already did that, I think. Yeah, I already did that. Yep. Nora, hey, I have a 1-year-old golden. She behaves well outside of the box, outside of the house. Sorry. I would say quite annoying to do potty breaks. She ignores us completely. What equipment are you using, Nora? Teleport 73, thank you for answering. Great videos, such a great help. Thank you. Jackie, I have an adult border collie who is an announced barker. It seems involuntary. It's something I can stop. Nope. Guard and retrieve. Love the Q&A. Have to go. Yep. Awesome. Thanks for hanging out. One main thing is not cutting their ears. They communicate so well with me and them. I'm curious if you use slip leads for breeds like pugs and bulldogs. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Drop them now. Out of questions, drop them in here. Prong collars are typically safer, would be my answer. Rachel asks, wondering about eye contact. My dog resource guards and whale eyes me. Should I keep my stare or look away? I would look away. I don't think that's the juice isn't worth the squeeze there on that. Cashmere, I have a 14-month-old border Australian cattle that is great at daycare, but on leash cannot walk without reacting. Pulls to meet other dogs, etc. That's because you don't have a good heel. So again, a lot of people are like, how do I stop my dog from doing this? You can't. You just teach your dogs, how to make better decisions, right? And again, we just put out a brand new course on introducing the heel command. It's called Master the Walk. The link is pinned. We worked really hard on it. So if you're struggling with leash stuff, it's right up your alley. Fit Coach Marshall, my 4-year-old black shepherd has enough wolf in him. It's difficult to get him not to bark at new people, staring him down or overly excited, different from Jim advice on that kind of genetic behavior. Again, obedience. You don't have the skill sets to handle that dog in that scenario, and you need to build those skill sets. So ask yourself, what do you want your dog to do? After you ask yourself what you want your dog to do, ask yourself then, have I done that? I want my dog to stop barking. Leave it. I want my dog to come here instead of go to people. Recall. I want my dog to go away from these people when they come into my house, place, and stay. Hopefully that's helpful. Nice to meet you. I hat would do it if a dog just doesn't care about any kind of correction, leash, pressure, prong. I would just say that you're probably doing all that wrong. The equipment is fit. Very rarely in my career have I had a dog not care about getting corrected with equipment that was made specifically to correct a dog. 99% of the time, it's because your equipment is fit improperly and your timing is off. I would guarantee you that that's what you're doing wrong. Shayna, is there anything you could do for a puppy going through a fear period? I already answered that. Please answer the question you asked us in the post yesterday. I've answered quite a bit of them. Let me see if I can find yours. Jason. Not seeing your questions, dude. If you have a question, you can answer them here. You can ask them here. Or John, sorry. Yeah, John, I do not see your questions. I've answered almost all of them. So if there's any I didn't, let me know. But yeah. Anyway, my golden retriever is 5 months old. When do I come home? He has happy sprinkles. So it's called piddling. And my suggestion is to ignore your dog as much as you possibly can. And don't get them overly excited. Is it okay for my golden retriever lets out a slight yelp from correction to prong collar when he is pulling hard on the collar? Again, no, I mean, it happens. It's not something you want to hear. It's not something you want to do. It's definitely not something you want to be consistent with. If your dog is pulling to a point where they are yelping at the end of the leash, it's because they don't know what you want them to do. So teach them heel. Got a new course on it. Dropped 15 minutes ago. Tina, my golden retriever is 5 months old. Oh, answered that. Teeny Evans, my dog is reactive and have done so much training with balanced trainers. I've seen like 8 trainers. We do well, but he locks onto a dog. Is there a little I can do to stop the reaction? Any advice? I think a lot of it is just, by the way, working with 8 different trainers means nothing if the trainers don't know what they're doing and they don't have experience. I've had people work with 12 different trainers and they came in and I was utterly shocked by what they still didn't know. So that's not really, something that doesn't mean anything. Like if you're working with that many trainers, that either means that you're not doing the homework or you're just working with people who don't know what they're doing. So is there, we do well once, but once he locks onto a dog, there's little I can do to stop the reaction. So that means your timing is off. That's like so easy. I'm so sad that you've wasted so much time. Super easy. So you're just working on the dog's timing. Don't let your dog get to that point. Do all of the things that you can to rewire the dog, right? So do an inside turn, do a drawback, do a heel, do a focus. There's so many things that you can do. Chris, what are e-collar prongs that work better for dogs with thick fur? The normal collars do pretty well, the standard ones, but you can get wingtips as well. If you just Google e-collar wingtips, they'll come right up. Natalie, how do you work with a dog that has really low energy and low motivation? They don't have the drive. There you go. If they don't have the drive, then you just have to lower your expectations, in my opinion. I mean, I'm answering that question the way that it said. If your dog has low energy, low motivation, and no drive, then you got to lower your expectations of what you want them to do. Janet, my dog has a prong collar on. We go out. For corrections, what do you suggest? He has learned to stand on his 2 back legs in order to avoid a correction. Your dog doesn't know heel. You do not put the prong collar on and go out and just tell your dog, nope. The prong collar is to enforce your heel command. The heel command teaches the dog how to walk nicely on a leash. Lucky for you, I just came out with a brand new Master the Walk course, and it goes over all of that. And again, I've said it so many times this live, but I understand people they're coming in and they haven't seen here. Master the Walk, brand new course. Stop the struggle. Master loose leash walking now. It goes over every single thing that you need to know about getting your dog to walk nicely next to you. The link is pinned. Check it out. Thing you need to know about that. So if your dog trying to get rid of a correction, you are doing it wrong. I bet my life on it. I bet my family's life on it. You are doing it wrong. Please, 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 please do not do that. Teach your dog. Oh my God. Teach your dog how to walk nicely on the leash. Teach them what you want them to do, and try to stop wanting to stop your dog from doing these things. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Oh, Jeff, thank you for the $10. That was really nice. Thank you for all your passion. No bad dog. Train the trainer. Thanks again. Thank you. Kaido, maybe Kiddo. I don't know. For those of you who've interviewed on your podcast, who was your favorite interview? That's a good question. I don't know. The one I did with Frank was really fun. The one I did recently with Forrest Mickey was a lot of fun. We've done a lot over the years, but they're all yeah. Jackie, are there any red flag clients you don't accept for yourself or your facility? Absolutely. People who, I mean, to be honest, no offense to the person who asked this question, but anybody that comes in that says that they've worked with 8 different trainers is a red flag. That means that likely they're not doing the things they need to do to be successful. Not always, because a lot of times too, happens all the time. Dog owners will come in and they've worked with 6 to 8 other trainers, but they're trying to get rid of a behavior and they've worked with positive reinforcement only trainers. Go figure. So that's a red flag. Also, just people who are like, hey, I want this fixed. I want to stop all these things. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. That's not how dogs work. That's not how training works. That's like going to a personal trainer and saying, hey, you need to make me skinnier. You need to make me healthier. Here's my money. If you don't do it, you suck. And here's a bad review. That's life. That's business. That's the world that we live in. But we have the ability to consult with these people before they sign up and give us money. You guys should look at our reviews on our business page. See some of the people. We've had people that will come in and buy all the merch and say how much they've loved things. They're going to wait 6 months to see if the training sticks. And we've had people 6 months later leave us a 1-star review and say that it was the worst experience and their dog is worse because of that. And that just goes to show, if you know dogs, that you didn't do your homework, you didn't follow up. Oh, and by the way, we offer free follow-ups for every single board and train that we ever do for free for life. And you never reached back out. And so these are all red flags that we try to avoid. We just tell people, hey, we're not a right fit for you. You're looking for something that we can't offer, which is perfection and unrealistic expectations. Try somebody else. So absolutely. Is it okay to train guarding protective skills to a non-protective breed? Yeah, sure. If you do it right. I'm getting down to the bottom here. Christian Schaefer, how to train my puppy for the nightly kennel, and what do you do when he cries? Check out my crate training video that I posted on YouTube. It's under my puppy thing. It goes over all that. Flawless pause, reduce fear of people. Any tips or ideas? We've gone over that several times this live, but you just get out to these new places and have a good experience with the dog and build that confidence with the dog. To neuter or to not, I don't. I just like the dog to fully develop. I would at least wait until 3, before that happens. Any seminars in Ontario this year? Nope. How would you suggest first-time owner learn about dog body language and vocalization? Just watch and learn. That's like the biggest thing. Is like same thing when people are like, how do I learn more about being a chef? Get into the kitchen, right? So if you want to learn more about dogs, watch dogs. Love the seminar in December and follow up board and train with Jack. Awesome. Can you recommend leash length for a dog burly size? 4-foot leash. I always do that. What are your best and worst part of your job? Best part of my job is fix my hat here. Best part of my job is helping dog owners break through. Best part of my job, easily get to work with a lot of great people. Hard part about my job is every single business in the entire world, no matter what industry, are going to have some bad eggs, and unfortunately, that makes our job really hard. Veterinarians deal with this a lot. Veterinarians have a very, 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 very low mental health capacity because of a lot of these reasons as well. And so, like, for reasons I've already said, right? Like, people are just really inconsiderate, really rude, and just bad people. And we do our best to try to weed these people out, but that's a really hard thing. Me and my team are so passionate about helping dogs. We've devoted our entire life. We spend Saturday mornings for free to help people. Just, we care so much. I want people to learn more about their dogs. I want to help people. I want to empower people. I want to inspire people. I want to motivate people. I want to help dogs. And we go out and we devote all this time to do that. And there's just bad eggs. There's just people who are malicious. There's people who, and that sucks, and that's the bad part of the business. The other bad part of the business, and it doesn't matter if you're a quarterback in the NFL, you make coffee mugs for a living, or you're a dog trainer. There is people out there that just are mean, hateful people that like to hurt people online. That's another thing that is really difficult for a lot of people. It was really difficult for me. Now I've really removed myself from social media quite a bit. And we don't see it as much, but that's another thing too. There's a lot of really there's a lot of people out there that are extremely hurt and extremely insecure about themselves, that find it necessary and fulfilling to go out and talk to, make videos about other people, and comment about all the things, which obviously, if you know anything about psychology, is a huge indicator that the person is extremely insecure or jealous and unhappy. And so, but it is difficult to see that. And so that is another kind of crappy thing about the world of dog training. So, good question. Stockho, my 1.5-year-old bulldog growls when I tell him to do something. He flies, not wanting to do it. Any concern about the growling? I think it's just probably vocalization. Excuse me. I don't know. I'd have to really see it. Jason, thank you for all the videos. Oh, thank you for somebody else gave me, I think, another $10. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. Dog Secret, I'm a dog trainer in Greece, and I just wanted to reach out and say thank you for your great work you're doing. Thank you so much. Are there any courses or resources you recommend specifically for dog trainers? No, but it's something that we talked about in this live earlier, is maybe I should make a course, or even make a new business of, like, helping dog trainers. I don't know. My son is at Home Depot right now doing a little, like, building thing. It's pretty cute. You guys can see it. It's cute. Anyway, what's up, Jordan? How do I stop my dog from moving around in the car? Put him in a crate. Easy answer. Thanks for answering the neuter or not. Is there any benefit? Yeah, of course there's benefits. Dogs who are neutered don't have the benefits of their growth plates growing and their hormones developing and the dog's muscle mass developing. There's tons of to that. My dog only wants to bite tall men. What's the best way to introduce? Slow and steady, or not at all. But again, as a reminder, guys, in the UK, hopefully I see you guys in England. We are doing a free level up talk VIP after day 1 and day 2. If anybody wants to purchase tickets, that's going to be included. It's never been done. We're probably never going to do it again. But if you're in the England area or in the UK or even in Europe, we have people flying over. I can't wait to meet you guys. I can't wait to see you guys. Head over to tomdavisevents.com, go into our website. And then also, we just uploaded a brand new Master the Walk course. Again, guys, I can't stress this enough. We've worked this. And it goes over everything that you need to be successful with your dog. I might be able to pull up all the information right now, possibly. Nope, just to check out. But anyway, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this live. I appreciate you. hanging out with me. Yeah. So much. I appreciate y'all. Have a great and wonderful day. And it's been an absolute loss. I'm reading a question about a flood or something. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate y'all. Hour and a half hanging out here live on Saturday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will talk to you guys the next time we do a live. And again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No Bad Dog Army. You guys are the best. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.